Welcome to Sylvia Speaks, a space created for Latinas to cultivate healing, knowledge around trauma, money wounds, finding your purpose, and unapologetically speaking your truth. A space that talks about it all, from healing mother wounds, difficulties in parenting, struggles in love, and the journey to self-discovery. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sylvia Speaks, the podcast. I believe we are on episode 35. I believe I am right. We are on episode 35. This episode is going to be an update on my latest surgery. You guys have seen it all. You have seen it all from the beginning of me even, thinking about getting the surgery. Well, I guess planning it and scheduling it and the emotions that came along with it and just like how I was feeling and how excited I was. And, and then getting the surgery, giving you guys an update and just like the emotional roller coaster that has transpired from that point on. And it has been a lot. If you listen to every single episode that I've released, maybe from like ass and titties all the way through up to now, you will kind of just see the progression or regression, I guess, of like my mental health in regards to the status of how my breasts look after getting them removed. It has officially been 6 months since my explant surgery, and I don't regret it one bit. I do not regret going through the process that I went through to where I am now. I think that it was definitely beneficial, not only for my health, but it was beneficial for just living in my authenticity and really proving that I can love me. And I didn't need to continue on with that identity that I had for such a long time with the implants. The implants, as I had mentioned before, that I had previously for about 10 years, those implants were 800 cc's. That is the largest size that they make here in the US. That is the largest size I think that they will even put in you in the US, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's what I've been told by doctors here in the States. But that's crazy. Like, I had the largest implants ever, and they were like, like melons, basically. My back hurt all the time. They were just really uncomfortable. I couldn't lay on them. They were just more of a hassle than they were good. And then when I lost a lot of weight, they became even more heavier. So it just wasn't ideal for me to have them anymore. I didn't like the look that they gave me. I didn't like the attention that came with it. And I just didn't like people's perception of me because of my body shape. And it was, primarily the boobs, because I always had booty. I've always had booty, but the boobs and ass combo, like, it was just a lot. And I wasn't desiring that type of look anymore. So going through that explant surgery was something that I think forever I'll be grateful for. Just really seeing my body transform again. And it kind of took me back to when I was a teenager, when I was a young adult before I got the implants, and just the emotions that I had around my body, specifically my boobs, before then. When I was growing up, my breasts have always been a point of insecurity for me. I think because they were asymmetrical. Um, One was like an A, and the other one was like a large B, maybe a C. They were super different, like in size, like significantly different, to the point where I would obviously have to get like a bra that fit the bigger cup, but then that would leave tons of room in the other one, and it just looked crazy. And so I dealt with that insecurity for a really long time. But I was also young, so it wasn't like I was out here dating, or like I had I guess insecurities like in a sexual way. It was more so like the things that I wore, and not being able to wear cute bras like my friends, and just being really ashamed of my body, like at sixth grade camp. And just thinking that, and not even men, like that women would notice and, bring it to my attention, which had happened before. And so that was primarily the reason why I had decided to go and get breast implants. And, at the time too, I was in a relationship that was toxic and abusive, and that was just, something that was also brought up. And I felt like maybe that would just, I don't know, make me a new woman and make me lovable. But I did have an identity with them. I had them done. They looked amazing, and I was known as Sylvia with the big titties for almost 10 years. And um it was funny, like it was funny in the beginning, and then towards the end it was like, that's not what I want to be known for, like I have a brain, like I just graduated with my master's, you guys, like I'm more than what my body is, and I wanted to be seen like that and respected for my brains and not just my beauty. So going through the explant surgery in the beginning, before it happened, I was super excited, also nervous. I wasn't sure what my body was going to look like, but I was ready to not have big old knockers anymore. Post surgery, like I've shared with you guys and on Instagram too, like the reel that I did, it was a shocker because I didn't know what to expect. And just seeing like the difference in my breast size, I was like, what the fuck? But then I learned to like love them for the most part. Like I really liked the shape. I liked that they were just like, I don't know, like kind of like teardrop, but they were saggy. But it was cute. Like they were petite. I enjoyed them, but I didn't like how much loose skin I had. The loose skin portion was insane. Like I have mentioned before, I would bend over and it would literally look like my panza before I got a tummy tuck, like the loose skin. And I was like, oh, my boobs, that's crazy. I don't know how I feel about that. I wasn't a fan. And I think at that point, that's when it became even more of an insecurity for me, where it was like, it's just not cute. Like it's not cute to have like loose skin, and it was really hard to find tops that like fit correctly to where I kind of like hide and mask it. Even tape, even like breast tape, that didn't really help all that much. So I knew in the future, eventually, like once I was fully healed, because the surgeon even said like nobody's gonna, we're not gonna operate on you until you're 6 months post-op. And that was the response I was getting from like other surgeons that I had consulted with too for a lift. I even was like, maybe I don't have to go as extreme as getting a lift. Maybe I can do like a fat transfer. I did a consultation for that. And the doctor was like, you have a lot of loose skin. Like we could do it, but you're not going to like the results. You're not really even going to notice the result because the skin, it's like, it's a lot. Like you had ginormous implants you needed, and you had a lot of weight loss. And so like all of that stretching, you got to get that revised. And then maybe you can come back and do like a fat transfer. So I was like, all right, we'll see. So I consulted with a few different surgeons. Mexico usually has been like the place where I go and I've gotten plastic surgery before because it's cheaper. I mean, realistically, like that's honestly the only reason why, because it's cheaper and they snatch you. Like here in the States, there's more rules and regulations. And now I understand it's all within good means. Like there's a reason for those rules and regulations so that you don't die, like so you don't die, and so that there's less room for complication and error. But I'm stubborn, and I'm also like, balling on a budget always. So I opted to go to Mexico. I know somebody who went to this surgeon. She looked great. Her results looked really natural. And I, reached out for a consultation, and I had booked an appointment, a surgery date for like next year, like I think in March. And I was like, they said, but you can message us, see if we have cancellations. And I was like, I kind of want to get them done before my birthday. So I reached out. They had a cancellation. They were like, it was like a little bit cheaper. And I was like, I'm taking it. Like it's mine. And I think I booked it maybe like a week and a half before like the surgery. So it was very short notice, like as far as like the exchange goes, but luckily, my mom was able to take us, and everything like ended up working out for the most part, to get the surgery done. So surgery date comes, and they tell me, well, the price of your lift is the price of the lift, whether you want implants or not. But the surgeon was like, I recommend that you get implants because you have no volume up here. And he was right. Like I had no volume up here. Like it was just like skin hanging down here, but nothing up here. And so I was like, I think in the moment and also thinking about it and just like the desired look, and also reflecting back on the fact that I took my implants out for the specific reason of me believing that I had breast implant illness. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I don't think I had breast implant illness anymore. I believe I still did have breast implant illness. There was a lot of different symptoms of breast implant illness that I felt like I had for a very long time, especially like joint pain. But when I had the implants removed and then obviously the hair loss, that was the major reason why I wanted them removed, because I correlated the start of my hair loss to be at the same time that I had got implants. And so post removing the implants and just like relearning how to love my body again, my hair fell out. Like I had a huge fallout of hair, and it was crazy. And so when I consulted with my dermatologist, she was like, well, you have alopecia, and that really doesn't have anything to do with it. Like it's like a genetic alopecia. So I was like, great. Okay. All right. Okay, well then maybe the joint pain, maybe my hips are going to stop hurting. My back definitely stopped hurting. That was kind of like a no-brainer because the implants were so heavy that it was like just slouching all the time. But the joint pain didn't stop. Like it was like how it normally would be all the time. So I was like, all right, cool. So I kind of felt at times like I did that surgery for no reason. I felt like I made myself look not as cute. I'm not gonna say ugly because I'm not ugly, but not as cute for like no reason. But there was a reason, and even if it wasn't like a physical reason, it was more like a mental and emotional reason. And I'm still very grateful that I went through that, and then I spent 6 months without them, so that I could just like learn to love like me. And again, I didn't need it. Like I don't need to go do these things. Like nobody needs to go get plastic surgery. But I'm somebody who is not against it. I'm somebody who's not against people doing whatever makes them happy. Unless it's some weird shit. Like I'm not even gonna say it, but unless it's some fucking weird shit like that, that's not cool. But if it's something that you need to do for yourself to make yourself feel happy, like self-care, like going to a spa, getting plastic surgery, getting fillers, getting Botox because you don't like the lines in your face. Like, what's wrong with that? You're not hurting anybody. You're doing it to yourself. And if you like it and you feel good, then what does it matter what anybody else thinks? And that's just how I feel about it. We're only on earth for we don't even know how much time. We are on borrowed time. And why not enjoy ourselves to the best of it? Why do we want to live up to other people's standards? And sometimes, I think about that too, as far as like cosmetic procedures go, because sometimes we do get so suckered into social media or, like reality stars like the Kardashians and like things that they make seem really popular. And we're just, there's a lot of people who want to look very much like that. And then there's some of us who like, we don't align. So yeah, I don't knock anybody for wanting to get any type of cosmetic procedure, any type of surgery. If it makes you happy, go for it. I don't see the reason in us belittling other women for choosing to get elective surgeries, even if we think it's like over the top and too much. If that's what makes them happy, then that's what makes them happy. Like mind your own, mind your own business. Like we don't really need to be meddling in the business of other people and why they choose to do the things that they choose to do with their own body. But anyway, that's just my stance on that. But obviously, just on the number of elective surgeries that I have had and different cosmetic procedures, like I do get Botox, not as frequently or whatever as I should, but I don't feel like I need it. Like for me, it's just like maintenance every maybe like twice a year, and just small things like some Botox here. I got that Boricua forehead, so my brow bone is really low. So sometimes I like to raise my eyebrows a little bit. One time I did too much Botox and your girl looked like a chola. It was crazy. But that, a little lip flip, maybe some here, but not really. Like I'm not too bothered about all of that. But I know as I age and time progresses, like I'm probably going to end up doing it a little bit more. But I have nothing against women who want to do whatever they want to do with their body. So, when the doctor told me that the price of the lift was going to, be the same whether I chose to do implants or not, and that I wasn't going to have volume if I decided to do just the lift, at that point I was like, okay, let's do implants, but I don't want them big. I told him I had really big implants. I do not want them big. So he said, okay, we can get you like a BC cup. And I was like, all right, I was kind of, not gonna lie, I was kind of like, maybe like a D. But at that point, I was being a little greedy because it's like, why do I need to be a D cup? I don't need to be a D cup. But I'm glad that I shut my mouth up. And I did tell him I do like the teardrop look. Like I do kind of want them to, just look like teardrop, like you. And so I go into surgery. You know, everything went okay, I think. I went to the recovery room. I wake up and they feed me. They give me like, apple juice and some water and like some jello. And I downed the apple juice. I was like, I felt like my body needed the sugar. Crazy. Like when you really listen to your body tells you what it needs. So I was like apple juice. And then then I had some water, and then I was like slowly eating the jello because I was still a little bit nauseous. And then by the time I was done with that and they were getting ready to roll me back to my room, the elevator was broken. And so I was like, oh, that's great. So they're like, well, we got to roll you back to the recovery room. And I was like, okay. So at that point, I asked, well, what time is it? And they're like, it's 3 p.m. And I said, okay, but can you guys please make sure that you let my family know that I'm out of surgery and I'm awake and I'm okay? And they're like, yeah, they already know. And I was like, okay, cool. So I took advantage. I said, I can't do anything. I don't have my phone. Like, I'm bored. I'm just going to go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep. I woke up again. It was and then I asked what time it was, and it was 5. I was like, dang, 2 hours and the elevator's still broken. And so I was like, well, what am I going to do? Like I did ask them again. My family knows. They said, yeah, they know. And I said, okay. So then I went back to sleep again. And then shortly after that, they woke me up and they took me to my room. I had no clue what was going on behind the scenes. And I spoke a little bit about this in my last episode where my boyfriend asked like how long the surgery was expected to last. They said about 3 to 4 hours. My mom and him went on like adventures in Tijuana, and they came back, and 4 hours later, they still didn't have an update. So he kept asking, they kept giving him the runaround, telling him 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes would pass, and 10 minutes turned into 4 hours. And at that point he was like over it. He was like, nah, so what's up? Something's happening. My best friend Mari's communicating with my mom, trying to calm her down, make sure. She's like, I keep pacing back and forth. We don't know what's going on. Like they keep giving us the runaround. And so he asked the girl on the front desk, like, where are the surgery rooms? And she's like, and he told me, I feel like she knew, but she was like, what am I going to do? And she was like on the 3rd floor. And so he walked up the stairs to the 3rd floor, hopped the little like divider that they had, and I saw the divider when I was going into the recovery rooms or the surgery room, and he saw the surgeon there eating his lunch, and he was like, what's up? Like, where's Sylvia? Like he kept asking like, ¿Dónde está mi Silvia? Like what was going on? And so he was like, ahí está, like she's right there. And so he checked on me, he pulled the curtain back, and he was like, okay, cool, she's good. And then from there, uh yeah, he said like within 7 minutes they had brought me down to my room. So it was like, he was like, they were bullshitting. And that was really scary to think about, now that I'm out and now that I'm home. And one, now that I had somebody to advocate for me, because I have gone through elective surgeries before where I didn't have somebody advocating for me. Now, the first time that I did have surgery in Tijuana, actually, that was my boobs. So no, the second time I had surgery in Tijuana, I feel like that was a really good experience. I felt like the surgeon, he's American, but he practices in Mexico, and I knew somebody who knew him. So I feel like that experience was maybe a little bit different. The hospital, like everything, that the only thing, no, I don't even have any complaints. Like I feel like everything was very like professional, and and they were careful and they cared for you and whatever, whatnot. But maybe not. Maybe I didn't even know what was going on then either. But this surgery, I mean, if I think about it, if I wouldn't have had my boyfriend there advocating for me and asking what the hell was going on, like how long would they have left me in that recovery room? I don't know. It's really scary to think about, honestly. A lot of women go to Mexico to get surgery done because, well, it's cheaper. And a lot of these women come by themselves. And I can't imagine like what goes on, you know? Like if they're here by themselves and they don't have like anybody advocating for them or like checking on them or like they're waiting, you know? It's crazy. Like I really think about it and I'm like, that's probably gonna be the last surgery I ever get done in Mexico. Um I never thought that I would have felt like that before, honestly. But this experience like really just was like an eye opener for me. Like I don't foresee myself one getting any more elective surgeries, all right. And two, definitely if I for some reason change my mind, it's not gonna be in Mexico. Though the prices are so nice. Honestly, they're not too much of a difference from the States anymore. Like back in the day, they were significant difference. But when I was looking at a lift here in the States, it was going to be about 10,000 with my doctor that removed, like did my explant. And I was like, man, he's not going to give me like the best results. I already knew that. And in Mexico it was, about 4K less. And I'm like, it is a significant amount, but sometimes it's like, is that really worth your health? Or is it really worth like the struggle or I don't know, just the potential issues that could happen? Probably not. So I said it here, like this should be my very last elective surgery ever. I am pretty happy with my results. They are tiny. And they look great. The loose skin is completely gone. I will have to say that this is probably the most painful, probably one of the most painful surgeries I've had. C-section is pretty painful too, but this was pretty. I mean, I'm on day 7. It's been a week, and I still have pretty good amount of pain, especially on my right breast and arm. I think it's because I'm right hand dominant, and I just been using it, and I don't know how to rest. Guys, I always want to do things. I always want to like, I'm like, I don't have to work all week, but I'm gonna do laundry. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna wash dishes. Like I don't know how to really rest, and that's my problem. And we've talked about that too, that I don't know how to rest. And this was the week that I should have been resting the most. But no complications. No complications. Everything looks like it's healing good. I do still have like tape on them. I did start removing some because I felt like my skin was like getting irritated and itchy from the tape. And then aside from that, I feel like it's providing like a lot of pressure. Like I think that my skin is expanding and growing and trying to fit the implant in and stuff. So, I'm definitely going to remove like the rest of the tape. But what else? Let's see how I feel about getting implants again. Um, I definitely felt a little fraudulent at first. I'm not going to lie. I felt like, damn, I did this whole thing where I was like, I'm removing my implants. This is my reason. I feel so empowered. I'm such a badass. Like, I don't need them. And all of those things are correct. But when it came down to it, it was kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to pay the same price, like, I just go. And maybe that wasn't the best decision, especially the best decision to make like right before surgery. But am I mad at my decision? No, I'm not. I'm really happy with how they look. I feel confident in my skin again. And once I get the drains out and, everything is nice and healed, I feel like I'm going to feel even better. And I'm just going to feel like, I don't want to say feel like myself again because the implants aren't part of me. But yeah, I feel like, just feel like my old confident self. Because learning how to have and build confidence again post explant surgery was very difficult. Because I was used to looking a certain way in clothes. And although I didn't care for how I looked most of the time in clothes, like it was more of a struggle, I feel, to kind of, I don't know, maneuver the small boobs, the saggy skin. It was really hard to find like solutions, so that you couldn't see that it was like really loose and saggy skin. And so I feel like that was like the biggest issue for me was, I put clothes on and they looked cute, but it was trying to figure out how to put the clothes on and how to tape things up and how to like just make them look normal. even though they didn't look normal. But I'm not upset with my decision. I'm happy that I did it. It was a little alarming and scary to hear about what had happened on the back end when I was thinking that my family knew that I was cool. Um, but other than that, I mean, in Mexico, like I said, they do snatch you up. So he must took off a lot of skin. I don't know how much skin he took off, but everything feels super tight. I don't see any loose skin. Um, and I love how they look. They're small, they're perky. When I got out of surgery though, they looked like parking cones. I don't know what that character is, but it's a character. She has like a metal bra. She shoots shit out of her bra. That's what my boobs look like. And I was like, did he botch me? Like I was starting to freak out. Like, and with all of this that had happened, I was tripping out, and I was trying not to freak out about it. I said, okay, I'm gonna give it a couple days, like a week, and see how they like settle. And they're finally like getting their, settling in, kind of getting form. And I was like, all right, cool. They're not parking cones. I think they probably look like that in the beginning because I asked for them teardrop. So I think once they drop, they will look like that. But in the beginning, they looked crazy. And I was like, why do I look like I have little parking cones? It's like, what the fuck? But um, I love how they look. I'm really happy. Um, I don't know why a lot of people say lifts don't hurt. Fucking hurts. But again, this is in Mexico where they really do snatch you up. I think maybe in the States, they probably either don't take off that much skin or whatever. Cause I did like my extensive research on YouTube, and, a lot of people saying, oh, the pain's very minimal. And I'm like, what am I feeling right now? Cause I don't know. I felt a lot of tightness in my chest. I still feel tightness in my chest. My right breast, like I said, this is the one that's taking the longest to heal because I keep using this arm. And um, I don't know. I don't know what else. What else can I update you guys on? I have drains on. These drains are a pain. I hate drains, but I know the purpose of them. So whatever. But these are probably the longest time frame in which I have drains, or maybe not. Then when I had my tummy tuck, that was in for a long time too. But these drains are gonna be in for like 10 days. Like I don't get them removed until Friday, hopefully. And so I'm kind of like it's annoying trying to find ways to style your clothes like with drains, and so people don't know that you have drains. Very difficult, especially with work attire. I don't know how I'm gonna get through the rest of the week. Luckily, tomorrow we have like casual day for Halloween, so hopefully if I do the trick that my homegirl Carrie told me, like sticking them in my socks, hopefully nobody knows. No one's gonna know. They're gonna know. But that is my surgery update. Ass and Titties Part 3. And I think this is the end of the Ass and Titties series. Maybe we'll do another update once everything is all nice and settled, drains are out, and whatever. We can like revisit how I'm feeling emotionally and physically. But yeah, I'm happy with the decision, but at the same time, I do feel fraudulent, and I do feel a little scared. I do feel a little scared that, my body's going to reject them. I do feel a little scared that, I don't know. I'm really trying not to like put that out there, but they're foreign objects in my body, and my body usually does not react well to foreign objects. Like even piercings, sometimes it takes a while for them to heal and stuff. Um, I'm just really hoping that everything goes smoothly, and that the most complicated part was the surgery part, and that everything else is going to be a breeze and a walk in the park. Fingers crossed. But thank you guys for showing up for my Ass and Titties Part 3. Boobies again update. And it's been almost a month. Oh, it's been a month since I've done a video podcast. So I'm really happy that this is the latest video podcast, and I feel like it's a good one. And if you guys have any questions, I know a few of you had reached out, like with my explant surgery, people were considering it. I still recommend it. Again, I had 800cc implants. I had ginormous implants. They were like an F. So naturally, my skin was extremely stretched out, which is why I had to resort to getting a lift. Now, if you don't have implants that are that large, and I'm pretty sure you don't, if you had reached out to me, I think you're going to be fine and you're not going to need a lift and you're just going to look great. But that was just, my bad for getting them that big, even though I didn't know and I never like signed up for them to be that big. That was kind of just, it fell on me in the end. And this was the process that I had to go through to have them corrected. And unfortunately, because of how large the implant was and how much volume I lost with the skin, the getting the implant just seemed to be the only thing that aesthetically would give me the result, the look that I was looking for. So thank you guys again for tuning in. I know I promised you this episode over the weekend, but it just worked out that I could do it today on Monday. So I appreciate you. Please take the time to rate, subscribe, and review on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts, and share me with your friends, with your homegirls, with your mamas, with your tias, with anybody who you feel can resonate with the topics that I talk about, the things that I say, healing, whatever, everything. And I can't wait to talk to you guys next week or at the end of the week. We'll see what kind of topic we will get into. But if you have any suggestions or anything that you want to hear, you know that you can put it in Spotify or you can send me a DM. All right. Have a good week and happy Halloween. Bye. Y Dia de los Muertos. Can't forget Dia de los Muertos. So I hope that you guys have your ofrendas out and, that you're just celebrating your loved ones in the best way that possible and the way that they would love to celebrate if they were still here present in the physical world with us. Much love. Bye.